You know, I was advisor to Prime Minister Sharon. I worked in the Prime Minister office. And you know, I always said that when you are serving in the Prime Minister office and you see everything and you know everything. Actually, when I was advisor to the Prime Minister, I was have more information about Israel that I have now as a member of Knesset. But when you served in the Prime Minister office, actually we can say you saw Israel, we can say like that, naked. I know everything about it. I know all the problems. I know all the challenges. I have all the information. And I can tell you, the main issue is that how we protect the Jewish majority in Israel and how we protect the Jewish people in the diaspora. Because we are losing people. We are losing Jewish people. We don't have enough Jewish people. We need to keep them. We need to keep them to the Jewish roots. Of course, out of Israel. And in Israel, of course, to make sure that we have this majority. That's why every decision that actually the Israeli government took about critical decision is concerning the Jewish majority. I wanted to say something about Iran. You know, Iran, it's a very important issue that we are dealing. It's not a daily issue, you know, when you are living in Israel, it's not something that people are always talking about. But the leaders of Israel are, of course, dealing with this problem and handle with all what can be from this problem. This is Iran, it's an international problem. It's not only an Israeli problem. You know, a few months ago, I was a guest in the European Parliament. And I wanted to, me and other members of Knesset wanted to try to explain to the parliament members from Europe the threat that can come from Iran. And we told them, listen, you built all this amazing institute of the European Parliament. And one of the reasons that you built it is to avoid from a third world war. But you can get the third world war because of Iran. Because if Iran going to have a nuclear weapon, for sure she's going to use it one day against Israel. And Israel is going to be the first target, but not the last. Europe is next. Israel, it's only the excuse of Iran. Iran actually fighting against our way of living, of all of us in the free world. In Europe, in America, in part of the Middle East. We should do whatever we can to make sure that we are not changing the balance that we have in the Middle East and creating a country like Iran with a nuclear weapon. And this is, I believe, a global interest. And we are in Israel, of course, we support very much all the diplomatic measures and all the economic sanction and everything that America lead. We think it's important. We think it can help. We think it can make a good pressure on the regime in Iran. And it's important to say, we have nothing against the Iranian people. We really believe that they are under the control of very bad regime that have his agenda, not always connect to the interests of his people. And we have problem with the regime in Iran that want to achieve this nuclear weapon, and he want this influence on the Middle East and in all the world. And we should do whatever we can to avoid them to achieve that. And you know, most of the time, and of course, even now, we are not interfering in the inside election in the United States. But I want you to know that the next president that you're going to vote for sure, is going to handle with the Iran problem. It's going to be maybe the first file on his table. Because it's something that from day to day become a more and more major problem. And I think this is something that we should say with anybody that we talk. You have a lot of influence about that, with congressmen, with senators, with everyone, even with a regular citizen. Explain them the threat that can come from Iran and what it can make and do to the whole world. For question, I want to say something about the Jewish communities and all the Jewish people. You know, I'm also the president of the Zionist Congress, and I'm involved very much in Zionist activities and with the Jewish communities. And I must say that, you know, I've been in a lot of Jewish communities around the United States and out of the United States, and you always find very big facilities, buildings, very big organization with a lot of money and everything. But I'm afraid for maybe 20 years from now, all this building going to be empty. And not because all of them make Aliyah, because young people not come and don't take actually responsibility. And we don't have the young generation enough that come in and take over. And this is something that we all should encourage and make sure that we have the young people that come in and take part. And I believe, and you can see now in the Israeli government some change of policy. You know, until now, more or less the Israeli government was never actually interfering in the Jewish communities and the problem of the Jewish communities. Actually said, the Jewish community is helping Israel, everything is okay, we are keeping in touch all the time, and that's all. But it's starting to change. We established in the Israeli government some committee that actually checking some options how to help the Jewish communities with their problem, because they have problem. They have the assimilation problem, they have the problem of education, how to keep the young generation connected to the Jewish roots. We have the problem that a lot of families cannot send their children to a Jewish school because it costs a lot, and we are losing people. And one of the idea is that, and it was actually on the Israeli, in the table of the Israeli government, to even give money for Israel and to help to some Jewish communities and encourage people to study Hebrew. And to encourage them to take part in some special projects and increase other projects like Masa and Taglit and other. You know, I believe that we are one. We are one nation, one people, we are one. Part of us living in Israel, part of us living out of Israel. But we have the same destiny, we have the same tradition, and we need to keep that. We need to keep that because this is the main asset that we have. We need to keep it. And I hope to see the Israeli government take more and more responsibility on that and cooperate with the Jewish community, with all the Jewish organizations in the United States, and not only, of course, in the United States. And you just saw now, you know, in Georgia, you all know what happened in Georgia, and you saw that the first country that sent airplane to save the people is Israel. That sent immediately a plan to take all the Jews and take all the Israelis there and help them and release them from this area. So this is Israel, I think, and this is what we represent. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to ask whatever you want. Thank you very much.